Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. This is Just Another Tinfoil Hat. Alive and well. So today we're going to be discussing the Dover Demon. I'm sure a lot of you know what this is. It's a classic case of just bizarreness. For those of you who don't know what I'm talking about, I suggest you find out. And I also suggest that you pick up Lauren Coleman's Mysterious America, which thoroughly handles the case. But I'll give a brief outline here anyway. So what is the Dover Demon? The Dover Demon is this weird little thing that was sighted in, you may have guessed it, Dover, Massachusetts, in April of 1977. It was sighted by no less than 4 credible witnesses, and, investigators have been trying for years, like seriously, since it happened, to figure out what it was, and failed miserably. Yeah, so cited by 4 people. The Dover Demon was this really, it was this spindly, bipedal, sometimes going down on 4 legs thing. It had a huge head, 2 huge glowing eyes, no mouth, and no nose. So the first thing that people really kind of chalked it up to was, extraterrestrial activity. Noting that its spindly, bug-eyed appearance is similar to those darned greys. Now, the issue I take with this is that, well, beyond, greys actually do typically have a mouth or a nose. It's just very small and doesn't really protrude or anything like that. But beyond that, greys are not often seen wandering from their saucers, if you know what I mean. They're also way more closely related to abduction or contactee phenomena. So the Dover Demon just appeared. There were no lights in the sky, no UFOs to speak of in Dover, Massachusetts at that time. So there's not much other evidence aside from the fact that it kind of had a similar shape to the head to say it were the aliens. So another theory that a lot of people like is the mangy Bigfoot theory, saying that it's eye shine, which was noted by, I believe, 3 of the witnesses as being bright orange and 1 of the witnesses as being bright green. Noting that that's close to those famous skunk ape pictures, where it's like behind the trees or whatever and its eyes are glowing, and that maybe it was a mangy skunk ape, I guess. Again, no mouth or nose. Last I checked, Bigfoot needs air to breathe and has to eat stuff, so then, you also have the people who say that it's like an aquatic monster type deal, maybe a mer being, yeah, that's an actual theory, which you could sort of argue makes sense as far as the lack of nose. I guess it would be gills then or something. But again, these weren't sighted on the body. Also, it was not sighted in water, really, or near water, really. You've got people who are saying it's more closely related to fairy or gnome activity, which, pretty legit, even though that's a kind of freaky looking gnome, if you ask me. So the truth of it is that we really just don't know. Like so many things, we do not know. So anyway, I was rereading the case in Mysterious America, actually, and there was one thing that really stuck out to me, and it was a statement by one of the witnesses that the color of its skin was like the color of the skin of, Fred Flintstone in the Sunday comics. It was like an exaggerated peach flesh color. And the reason that stuck out to me is that, I was kind of in a major Men in Black kick. Okay, I'm kind of always in a major Men in Black kick. And the odd thing about the Men in Black is that in their attempts to blend in their attempts to, appear human, something is always exaggerated. It's like someone says, act natural. Not saying the Dover Demon was a man in black per se. Little Dover Demon-y dressed up in your little black suit, terrorizing UFO witnesses. What I'm saying, though, is that maybe it was supposed to be. Look at it this way. So first we have the tricky notion that it doesn't have a mouth or nose. So unless it's some sort of, jellyfish, bipedal, on-land jellyfish monster, it's not an animal in any way that we really understand it. However, you could take a mask, and the mask doesn't need a mouth or a nose because the mask doesn't need to breathe. So, another, I guess, example of this phenomena is the Mothman, who again is, typically cited as noseless and mouthless, but has the huge glowing eyes. And I consider personally the Mothman to be a projection onto our reality from somewhere else. And so, personally, too, I think that 90% of the whole Men in Black phenomena is ultra terrestrial in origin, that they're from here, just on a different frequency. And so, who knows what they really look like? Who knows if we saw what they really looked like, if we would be able to comprehend it? And so, their behaviors, they're appearing and disappearing, and they're somewhat like supernatural, like magical abilities. It's not of this world. It's not something that we can do or that we can harness. And so, what if the Dover Demon was like a jumbled projection? What if it was a failed mask? Because there was no reason either for the Men in Black to be in Dover, Massachusetts at that time. What if, in somehow entering our plane of reality, their mask, a Men in Black mask or projection or whatever you want to call it, became jumbled and became this ultra exaggerated bloppy thing? Because the other point is that the Dover Demon has never reappeared. It was sighted just throughout that week in April of 1977 and never again. And so when you have something that's seen once or twice and then it just goes away, all we can assume is that it's not from there. It's not like, if you see Bigfoot somewhere, and there's a history of Bigfoot sightings, we can safely assume that Bigfoot lives in the area. However, we don't assume that UFOs, if they just appear out of the blue one day, and there's no really tradition of them being in that area, we don't assume, oh, the UFO lives here. As a matter of fact, we assume that it doesn't, because it appears and it goes away. So I think it's the same with the Dover Demon. It was just a flopped projection. Maybe it was supposed to be, it had aspirations of being a Man in Black, and it was garbled. So the one thing we do know for certain is that it was not a moose. Like, for goodness sake, it wasn't a moose. So that's what I gotta say about it. This is just another tinfoil hat, signing off. Doing.